Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of November to Remember. It has been a very interesting program. Uh, if you've joined us from the beginning, every day we've had something very exciting to discuss. Yesterday we had Dr. Vandana. She shared an interesting topic about cracking the code of dementia. Today is another beautiful day, and we will be having a very, very important topic, a topic that is dear to my heart, and I'm sure is also dear to most of you. Today we will be having Dr. Mohammed Sadiq, and he will be sharing with us a topic titled Fostering Entrepreneurial Empowerment, Entrepreneurial Empowerment. My name is Thomas Tonokari, and co-hosting with me today is Ejovi. Ejovi, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening to you and everyone. It's an honor to be co-hosting with you today on this series. All right, so I'll be reading shortly the bio of the speaker that we have today. And he's an accomplished chartered accountant with qualified teaching professional, Dr. Mohammed Sadiq. He brings a passion for leveraging his commercial acumen and industrial knowledge to impact crucial accountancy and business skills to learners. With an extensive experience in the industry of accountancy practice and academia, he holds membership in the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, the CIMA, and possesses CIMA's full practicing certificate. Beyond his CIMA accreditations, he has served as the chief examiner and subject matter expert with a leading international professional body. His role has also encompassed developing and crafting exam questions for professional accountancy examinations. His commitment extends to nurturing learner skills to align with the evolving need of local and national employers in the 21st century. Currently, Dr. Mohammed Sadiq is pursuing a PhD doctorate in a specialized field of accountancy. His aim is to enhance the learner's journey at the University of Bolton. He ensures unwavering commitment and positive results in all endeavors and is eager to share his expertise with us today. Additionally, he was honored as the Outstanding Lecturer of the Year for the Institute of Management in 2014 and 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, with joy, I present to you Dr. Mohammed Sadiq.
Jovi, Thomas, well, thank you very much for that introduction. And it's really my pleasure, really, to be part of this series. And it's an honor for me to be here. And my aim tonight or this evening is to add value, inspire and motivate you and offer you a perspective. It's my perspective, and as academics and business people, entrepreneurs, you know, having different perspective is always good and inspirational. So it's 6 p.m. on the 14th of November. A pleasure to be here. As introduced, my name is Dr. Mohammed Sadiq. My specialization is in taxation, which I've completed my doctorate in 2022. And welcome to the Centre for Entrepreneurship at the Greater Manchester Business School, the University of Bolton. Like I said, I'm here to add value. I hope you have some expectations this evening. I'm going to keep it concise and to the point, because your time is valuable, and I want you to be able to take as much as you can away. So while I'm just talking, can you just put in the chat, yeah, where are you dialing in from, and why are you here fundamentally tonight? What do you hope to gain by this an hour and a half? So please feel free, just put in the chat where you based, and what are you expecting this evening? Okay, please do that, and then we can pick that up. Questions you can also put in the chat, and I'm sure my colleagues will be picking that up, and we'll have ample time to do Q&A at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to load my PowerPoint, people. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can see this PowerPoint. Somebody give me a thumbs up or anything, whatever. You can see it clearly.
Yes, we
Yes,
can see it clearly.
yes, good. Okay, so fostering entrepreneurial empowerment is the topic this evening, and I'm going to really look at the title this evening and see exactly what that means, and what is empowerment and what is enterprise and entrepreneurialism. So I'm hoping to investigate those two powerful terms. But before I do that, let me just humanize who I am and my journey, and how I touched the business world and how I touched academia. And this is my story, and I hope it inspires some of you. So left school, I'm not going to tell you when, and not give you my age away. Left school and immediately came out with some what we had CSE or O levels back in the day, with very little, and started a family business. So very cultural, in the United Kingdom, many, people from my ethnicity did start a business because we're from an entrepreneurial background. So started a family business, and that was a way to bring the family together, so you can understand the values, the culture of why somebody wants to start a business, not only financial, but different aspects. So started the family business, and you might say, well, why did you start a business? Well, the one piece of advice I had from a seminar I went to in person said, whatever you do, whether you continue in education, but start a business, whether it's a Saturday market stall, but start something which you can develop over the years. If you don't start anything, then there's no chance. But what we call a side hustle now, a side hustle, a business. Them days it was a market stall or anything. But so that was the advice I got, and I took it on board. Okay, and I'll tell you how that evolved. Started the business, then got married, okay, and started the family. Okay, from the money I made in business, I bought my first house. So academia hadn't touched me up to maybe 10 years in those 3-4 bullet points. Then decided that I need some academic qualification, and I always wanted to be excuse me, an accountant from school. So started gained a diploma in accounting. So not a degree, but it was a professional diploma in accounting. Once I got my diploma, that allowed me to practice, be a member in practice, meaning that now I could be client-facing and take on accounts, tax, VAT problems, etc. Okay, so that gave me an insight into how accounting and facing clients worked. And at this time, I still had this family business and had my accountancy practice, which I could develop as well. That evolved into then some part-time teaching, which I fell into teaching, right place at the right time. And then I was motivated to complete my studies and go on to qualify as a CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, Chartered Accountant, which was the ultimate academic ceiling for me at that time. Opportunities evolved and went into global teaching. So I've taught, the ACCA around the globe, from Malaysia, China, Botswana, And that obviously in itself is transactional education, which is really it's motivating and really good for experience. Thereafter, again, professorship in teaching, and thereafter a doctorate in taxation. So that's me. That's my journey. But what I want you to take from there is that at the very beginning, after leaving school, my advice was start a business. And at that time, unemployment was high. And UK, it was Margaret Thatcher in power then. And they had a scheme where if you went self-employed, they would give you £40 a week. So they shifted the unemployed to self-employed, and obviously the unemployment figures dropped because of that government policy. Anyway, it was win-win because we got £40 for 52 weeks, and that got me into it. So, government policies at the time do have an influence. So that's me. Let's just move on, ladies and gentlemen. So, the importance of entrepreneurship. We all know, obviously we in this room, and we've got experienced academics, and we all know that enterprise is a leading driver of the economy. But let me just give you some context to what's on the screen. In 2023, so I'm quoting the Federation of Small Businesses. So in 2023, SMEs contributed £1 trillion worth of turnover, to the economy of the United Kingdom. And that demo SMEs, the definition of SME for this session is those businesses with less than 10 employees. So look at the importance for economic growth, of the UK and how important SMEs are. Okay, some more context that there are approximately 2023 figures again, 5.5 million small and medium enterprises in the United Kingdom. And in 2023, SMEs report a significant impact on transitioning to net zero by 2050. So all those points on that PowerPoint: economic growth, innovation, job creation, wealth, regional development, etc., social impact, environmental sustainability, is why we need SMEs. Okay, an SME, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Twitter, Facebook, they've all been startups, okay, and they've grown obviously with the times, etc. So the importance of entrepreneurship really is in black and white there for you all to see, and I thought that would be good. So for me, in my perspective, SMEs are key. So that's some context. And I really liked this quote by Jim Rohn. Some of you might have come across this gentleman. Let me just move my... we just talked about the economy, and Jim Rohn's income is primarily determined by your philosophy, not by the economy. So, begs the question, how much control have you got over the economy? How much control have you got over the economy? Very little, but you have control over your own beliefs, own attitudes, your own aspirations and mindset. So we can only work with what we control, not the economy, not this, but to some extent what our philosophy is, how you are resilient, how you can get yourself back after a setback. So this is what really an entrepreneurial mindset should be like. So that's a quote I thought would be good. Moving on now. topic, and I always said the topic tonight is fostering entrepreneurial empowerment, but I've flipped that. I've flipped the words there, empowered entrepreneurs. So let me just, you probably already know that empowered is an old French word from the 17th century, which means invest with power. Empowered means invest with power. It's from a French word, and that really says it all. Invest with power. So if you're empowered, you're making an investment, whether it's in yourself or in the SME or enterprise you're looking at. So I think, flipping that around makes you think, really, fostering entrepreneurial empowerment, how do we go about that? But it's an investment in power. And I thought that was a really good perspective, is to flip it to look at what we're here tonight for. Just picking up on that point, key attributes of an entrepreneur. We all know these, mindsets, what we need, and the mindsets of some of these big entrepreneurs, whether it be Coca-Cola or Samsung or Apple, is creativity. Okay, creativity, being better than your competitor or than your next, business person, and being resilient. Okay, resilient. I'm learning. We're all learning. We're in academia. We're here to learn from each other. As much as this is not a lecture. I'm going to learn from you, from the questions you ask. So being able to be, look back and be resilient and bounce back. And that's a philosophy. How good are you bouncing back? Okay. Or have you tried a business and never again, sort of thing. So it's about resilience, a question you need to ask yourself. Certainly risk-taking. Yeah, risk-taking. Business enterprise is also about risk-taking. And I don't need to tell you that the higher the risk, the higher the potential of profits. So, you need to ask yourself the question, am I a risk seeker? Am I risk averse? Or what am I? Okay, do I just want to put my money in the bank and gain the interest on it without taking a risk, or shall I take, my next business venture? Okay, how adaptable and proactive you are. So this is all the mindset of an enterprise. And I thought it'd be useful, rather than just talk generic about, societal impact of enterprise. I think we need to start at the foundation with you. Yeah, how are you going to make a difference to your neighborhood, your community? Yeah, and then your obviously local and national in environment. So it does start with me and you guys. So just to reiterate that your next business venture, you need the skills. You need the skills. And like I said, back when I went into business, I sought out skills and being prompted. One thing leads to another, and it evolves. Yeah, you just cannot just pick. Yeah, it evolves from one thing to another. Having the mindset, the resources, initiative, innovation, and creating value. Does your product create value? Does it fulfill a need? Yeah, these are all things that you can research and learn. So that's just reiterating some of the stuff of what we talked about before. Okay. So being an accountant, I thought it may be worthwhile just showing you a different perspective and some logic about employed versus an entrepreneur or self-employed. Okay, very basic example here. Yeah, nothing in detail, but I'm going to just prove a point of where I'm coming from. So if you look on the left-hand side, employed. So typically, I've just made these figures up. Somebody who's got a salary of £20,000, and a normal tax rate will be 20% at £4,000. Somebody pays tax if they're employed, and you're coming out with £16,000. Okay, do you get that concept? Very easy. Yeah, you're employed, you have no risk, you go Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, come home at 5 o'clock and shut up shop. Yeah, you're not interested. There's no risk at all. It's plain, it's safe. Okay, however, I'm not saying it's not important to be employed, but there's one way to do it. Yeah, perspective. So I'm employed here, you know, and I'm not in similar, yeah. But an entrepreneur, let's look at the entrepreneur on the right-hand side now. Same income, turnover at 20K. And you know, guys, your experience that you can deduct expenses, yeah? Business expense. And then you're left with a taxable income of 15. And that 15 after expenses, you're taxed at 20%. So 15 at 20% is 3,000. And net is 12,000. So it shows you, if you are employed, you're paying tax of 4,000. If you are an entrepreneur, you're paying tax of 3,000. So there's a benefit of being in business right away. But I want to go a bit further than that. So I'm going to reduce this for you. I'm going to go a bit further than that now and just tell you, you know, another advantage of being in business. What if I change this word from expenses to investment? Okay, so technically that's not right, but I'm just going to reframe it to investment. So those expenses, and I'll give you some typical expenses, maybe things like marketing. So of that 5,000, I'm going to spend some on marketing my business, building my brand. Yeah, I'm going to train myself or train my staff. I'm going to build up a reputation. Okay, I'm going to spend some money on research and development and be innovative and look at the next product. Yeah, I'm going to build some customer relationship management. Okay, some goodwill, some intellectual property. I'm going to build my brand. Okay, so that expense now is not really an expense, it's an investment in your future. And the government are allowing you to deduct that whilst you're in business. So that 5,000 now really is an investment in the future. Okay, depending on how and what, you know, how you control them expenses is a different matter. We're not looking at profitability here. I'm looking at why be in business. Okay, so, you know, expenses is an allowable deduction. Is it an expense? Is my question to you guys, or is it an investment? Is it power investment, a power investment? Okay, so it's a good way to look at that. Education. I have a lot of clients. We do a lot of pro bono work, who come to us and have a fantastic business idea, okay, but they have this fear of accounting or tax, okay, or marketing or HR, okay. They know their product or their service, but they are, you know, have difficulty. So as part of being an entrepreneur is to have the financial literacy. You need to be able to speak the language of finance, not only for your own confidence, but when you go in front of, you know, investors or shareholders, your banks, speaking the lingo is really important. You need to know how to market. Yeah, you need to know about marketing strategies, business planning, networking skills. So I think, you know, we are lifelong learners, and having an entrepreneurial mindset and, you know, gaining education along the way is going to help. It's an investment in yourself, isn't it? Yeah. And, you know, government have a big agendas, yeah, on educating the self-employed people. Okay, so it is policy, because the more educated they are in enterprise, the more it's going to add to the economy. So that really makes sense to do. And it's also important that a lot of my businesses, yeah, I need 100 grand, 100,000 pounds to start a business. Do you really need that? Yeah, or can you start small? We all know about starting small, but having a mentor is important for, you know, empowering yourself. You know, having maybe, you know, in the UK we have business incubator space that you can use. We have government grants for financial assistance and knowledge sharing, training. But it's all about really gaining and sharing knowledge. And, you know, activities like this are really good. And it may just take one word for me to inspire you into doing something, you know, over the next in the future, like it did to me many years ago. One word, you know, changed my life. Yeah. And that's all we're looking for. That's all we're here for, isn't it? To help each other. So access to resources is obviously critical. Challenges. Okay, and this comes with the resilience, isn't it? You know, if you're an enterprise or if you've got, you know, how can you foster entrepreneurialism without challenges? Whether, you know, it is Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, Coca-Cola, or this local business across the road, this Olympus fish and chip shop, we all got challenges in, you know, geopolitical, in economics, in local challenges, in legal, in sustainability, etc. Challenges will be there, but common ones like financial constraints, market constraints. You know, are you offering a differentiated product? Okay, COVID, a lot of lessons to be learned from COVID. Okay, did we change? Did some business change with the time? Why has Amazon come in and ruined the high street? You know, there's a lot to be thinking about in this world. Okay, and, you know, talking about uncertainty and risk going forward. You know, the pastel elements of the politics, what's going on, the economics of the world, socially, technology, you know, how technology, digitalization is impacting enterprise, and the economy, the environmental, etc., bigger on the agenda. And then all the operational challenges we have with the supply chain, you know, the conflicts around the world. We all know about the conflicts and how, you know, they're disrupting the supply chain. So challenges is something that are here to stay and is part of the process of building or fostering, you know, this entrepreneurial spirit. I'm a big believer that, you know, equal opportunities. And we need to empower everybody, yeah, especially those who, you know, parts of the community that have limited access to training, education, or may just not, or lack the motivation, yeah, don't value, or they're not empowered, yeah. So I think having access to education and training, you know, by the work. I mean, this is great. This seminar series is opening up this to, you know, around the globe and to different people. So fostering transparency and then measuring the diversity, you know, metric. I think there's a lot of work of research being done around, you know, different ethnicities and businesses, etc., and cultures. So that's something for you to think about as well. Government support and policies, and I've talked to you about before. When I was starting a business, there were government support and policies that got me into business. If that government support wasn't there, would I have gone into business? Question mark. I don't know. Yeah, but there's an incentive. So we all need incentives, whether it's research and development, tax relief. Look at the tax relief now. So in this country, you know, for example, if you are buying an electric vehicle in a business, you will get 100% tax relief. Okay, which means I can write it off, yeah, as an expense. Okay, and look how what that means for companies who have fleet of vehicles. Yeah, buying an electric vehicle, contributing to net zero 2050. You know, not only does it give you a tax break, it is also helping global warming, etc. So tax relief, education and training, and financial assistance. We need that from the government, and depending on your particular environment, you know, it'll be different in different economies. I mentioned Amazon. We all know Amazon, a household name, but digitalization. Yeah. Digitalization. Can you just put yourself on mute? Thank you very much. Digitalization is affecting, you know, everybody, and you know, my doctorate was on making tax digital. Okay, making tax digital. Everything's going online. So the Amazons of the world are doing everything online. You've got an online shop, a virtual environment, and what's it doing to the high street? Yeah, and we've got you know, different promotions, Black Friday coming up, whatever that is. So you know, it's affecting everybody, and COVID has a lot to play with that. And because of digitalization, many businesses have not transformed and evolved and closed. Okay, we know that. We everybody knows that in this room. So digital transformation is impacting all aspects. So is e-commerce. In a good way, but it's obviously more efficient and improved customer relationship. And of course, with digitalization and technology and AI, you know, AI, as you know, guys, is massive. These algorithms can track a lot of your preferences. Good or bad, that's a different debate. Okay, so you know about technology in enterprise. Just touching back on innovation and creativity. What's your next product? What competitive advantage does that bring? Is it unique? How is it differentiated? You know, market changing. You know, is it dynamic? Yeah, is it evolving? You've got the IT sector. It's dynamic, it's changing, etc. Mobile technology. How good are your problem solving and productivity and efficiency? And depending on how good you are at all those, competitive, evolving with the market, problem solving, and being efficient and productive will equal profitability. Yeah, or even, you know, could equal a loss. So, you know, that's why, you know, there's a need for constant dynamic change. Collaboration and networking. I think it goes without saying that, you know, whether you want to start a business in a partnership, you are collaborating on expertise, on financial, yeah, on know-how, or collaborating with a different business or building your reputation. And networking are very powerful, yeah, in this day and age. Whether it's on social media, you know, the power of social media in the news, in business, and you know, these influencers there's a lot to do on that side. So it just shows you the power to tap into that. And I thought it'd be useful just to run that by you guys as well. Sustainable entrepreneurship. I talked about net zero. Nearly every listed company should have a sustainability report of how they are helping stakeholders in the economy and the climate and what they're doing, how they're doing their part. And, they all have reports, 100 pages long, but, it's all good. It's good reputational. And with the government agenda of 2050, I mean, they're obliged to do that anyway. For good reasons, for our children's future, the social impact, for regulations, as I said, and to be responsible companies or entrepreneurs, and minimize the ecological footprint. And the government give rewards for that. You get tax breaks for that sort of thing, and underlying this is reputation. Companies which are doing this, or coming up with these reports are reputable. Compared to if you're not doing this, one, the regulation will get you, and two, how do you look to the outside world? How do you look to your stakeholders if you're not a sustainable business? So these are all things what you need to be thinking about. And I've got many clients who've started small, where it's a charity and they're doing sustainable. It could be anything sustainable, which is all good, really, in this day and age. I thought I'd just put this a bit outdated. In 2019, and we talked about different parts of the world and how easy. So this is best European countries for starting up, and maybe 2019. So on top of the list, you've got a country there with the United Kingdom. So that's in the EU. I think what we need to just get out of that, there are opportunities, doesn't matter worldwide. I mean, that's just Europe. That's just Europe. We're talking about the globe. We are a global village, aren't we? I can order today from something from China, or the US, so we really are a global village. That's the power of digital technology and the present days, and it's never been so easy to set up in business wherever you are, depending on your perspective and your mindset. Okay. And this is just my bit of a passion, is to go for it, explore, and go where no person has gone before. What is your next product? Do you all know this thing here on the screen? Do you all know what that is? Somebody break silence.
Star Wars.
Thomas.
Yeah, I think that was a ship from Star Wars.
Star Trek. Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, we're all in space looking for the next thing, the next. So do something what nobody else done before, and that was the motto of this film, which I like. I could talk for, I could talk and take your time this evening, but for me, 20 slides, unless you take action, guys, you're experienced people, take the next step and nothing's going to happen. Now, I don't have to tell you that, you'll never have the perfect time, the money, the resource. But what are you going to wait for? Are you going to take action, or are you going to leave it for 10 years? So that was 40 minutes of me talking about fostering, enterprise, etc. So I've talked generally about the economy, the importance of entrepreneurial empowerment, and then brought that down to really a level that is, affects us on a personal level. Okay, and we've got 68 people in this room, and if all 68 of us start a side hustle, so it doesn't have to be you may be, some of you may be employed already, but something on the side, and if 68 of us are doing that, how much is it gonna impact your community? Question mark. Okay, so I think I've done enough, really. It was not a lecture, it's me really giving you my perspective. I hope that you've gained something, if anything, from this 40 minutes of our lives. And I'd be really happy now to open to discussion and share your perspectives, your stories. Please be, don't be, hesitant. You can ask anything you like, and I'm here, and I hope we can have a nice dialogue for the rest of this session. So Thomas, Eloji, back to you guys for taking any questions or anything.
Dr. Sadiq, that was very, very in-depth. Those short 40 minutes, but I must say that it's exciting and with a lot of content. As you were speaking and you mentioned that SMEs contribute about 1 trillion to the UK economy, and they have about 5.5 million jobs. I quickly checked on Encyclopedia to see that is more than a quarter of UK GDP is contributed by SME. That is massive. That is a whole lot contribution to the economy. I must say that's new information for me, and I do appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. So that I quoted that from the Federation of Small Businesses 2023, and the good thing about that, Thomas, is that those businesses they had less than 10 employees. Yeah, which shows that they're small, very small entities. So that is the level of contribution, they're making to the economy.
That's very interesting. It also brought my attention to something and gave me a new perspective the way I look at expenses. I mean, business expenses. You rephrase it as investment, and come to think of it as an investment, it gives a better perspective, because this so-called expenses will bring profits tomorrow. So they're actually more of an investment. And thank you for bringing that perspective to me. And I'm sure many of us will see that very insightful perspective. At this moment, Adrian, do you want to contribute something?
No, so the floor is open for people to ask questions. You can drop your questions on the text box, on the chat box. And so Dr. Sadiq can see, or we can read it out to him. All right.
Or you can
come on screen or not talk.
Or you can unmute your microphone and also ask question.
Come on, guys. Come. Somebody tell me their story about. Is there anybody in business? Excuse me. Has somebody already got a business or a product or anything? Or
okay, well, I don't know how I'm going to put this, but I'm just trying to look at the audience that are here. I think majority, if I'm not wrong, majority of the members here in the audience are relatively new in the UK. All right, so we are yearning, inclusive of myself, we're yearning to know lot more about how to start up businesses in the UK. All right, so we may not have UK domiciled experiences in terms of businesses or products that we have. You know, it could be other some other places where we're coming from, but for me personally, I would want to know more of what are the pitfalls, in setting up businesses here. So let's say, look at this typical scenario. I'm a master's student in the University of Bolton, all right, and in a couple of months, I will be graduating, and a lot of us also are aspiring to set up one form of business or the other, float one project or the other. So getting to know what are the steps to achieving that would be also useful to us this evening. So if you could maybe just share little thoughts on how you just pick a typical product or idea and say, how do we go to market? I think it would be a lot more informative for us.
So I can't comment on the visa aspect of, because you're an international student, of whether you're allowed or not allowed to be self-employed. But
Yeah.
can you just tell me, are you allowed to be self-employed, or
Sorry?
does the visa allow you to be self-employed in the UK as a
Yes,
No.
yes, it does. I think so.
It does,
Actually,
okay.
yeah.
I wouldn't
So
know
okay,
exactly.
it does.
Yeah, but
So
I doubt. Yeah, I doubt we're not.
No,
so
not sorry. It doesn't allow us to sort of like open a business, but you can get self-employed employments. I think they call it something like that. I actually wanted to ask a question about it, but yeah.
so the question about, so it says that some people say we can't open a business as a student. But let's just say hypothetically you wanted to set up in business, regardless of what the visa implications. So it's about finding, a business idea, whether it's a product or something which is needed in the in the marketplace, and then going to market, whether you use whether you're doing it virtually on social media. I have a client who is working from home and is buying some girls, they call it butterflies, just on here. She's buying them in from China, importing these only, I think, 50 pence each from China. I think people wear like a brooch, and she's buying in and then selling them on Amazon, on eBay, and she's hitting £80,000 turnover. Okay, so this doesn't take a lot. You've got to source your product, number one. Source your product or service, and then bring it and sell and get an outlet. I take it that obviously you're not going to buy premises if you're just a student, but certainly you can use the online platforms, eBay, your Facebook, etc. But then it begs the question that if you start doing it regularly, if you start doing any business, buying and selling regularly, that means then you have to register with HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, that you're operating a business. Okay, so you have to inform them, then you have to complete a tax return annually, and that gets you into being, a taxpayer in self-employment. So the route is easy. Your obstacle is obviously finding a product in demand. So I've just been speaking to somebody before this session. They want to buy vitamins and supplements and from a country overseas and selling those online. And I asked the question: is anybody else doing that? Is there any competition? Because I know another friend of mine has just sold his supplements business, buying supplements from the US, and selling them, and his turnover was about £4 million from his bedroom. So can you see, how different it is? And he's just sold the business to a person in Wigan, a gentleman from India, and and all he did is buy supplements, vitamins, and then sell them online. But is he? Yeah, I saw his accounts. Yeah, his accounts were submitted to HMRC, so he's not. It's legitimate business. So how, Jovi, hope that's answered your question. Go for it. Go for it. With looking at without the visa side of it, obviously I can't comment on that. But if it's just the business, I will go for it.
Yeah, I think let me assist a little on that one. Now, number one, as a student, you are limited, but not in total. You can actually, if you have an offshoot idea, what we are trying to create now in computing and also in knowledge exchange, if you have a very good idea, you want to move from your thesis, from your PhD, we can harness it to be a business for you, because then it will come off as offshoot. This is what MIT does, irrespective. But when you are studying, there are two things. When you are studying, that is when your visa is restricted. But after that, I have also seen two of my students who got global talent. Global talent means you can actually start a company. When I did my PhD, in Aberdeen, even though I came in with AU, I started a company. So you can start as sole trader partnership. The rule about 20% is that you can still work under someone with an idea. Like what he is saying, what Dr. Mohammed said is number one is to have a research idea, research, get an idea of what you want to do. And then number two, checking the legal requirements. Number three is having a business plan, like he was listing it, a business plan, and then register with the HMRC, as he mentioned. I actually registered with HMRC, and then what I developed was from my PhD on wireless sensor network, so how to use sensors to detect weapons and also to detect leakages in pipeline. Then you can now go for the task with HMRC, know what task does. Now there are agencies, banks that could help you, because once you register that business in the bank, you have an account to operate it, and you will not be taxed until you start making money. So it's not necessarily that, okay, you just open it and then they start taxing you immediately without profit. There are limits of the money you make in, then where the tax will now start operating. But the most important thing about it is marketing, networking, like you said, managing your finances, adapting and learning. That is what I can contribute from there.
Good. Thanks, Celestine. Yeah. Okay, we've got two people who've got their hands up.
Yeah. So we could take a fair.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sadiq, for the insightful lecture. Like Ajovi said, majority of students have just come into the UK, and I think some of us actually have business ideas. But I think one challenge is, apart from having a business plan, doing the HMRC thing and all of that, cost of entry is one key factor. So my question is, how do we go around that? The issue of cost of entry, because some of all these ideas are capital intensive. What do we do? How do we go about it?
Right. Okay. So you raise a really good question, Effie. A barrier is one of the barriers. So, who do you want to compete with? Do you want to compete with Amazon? Do you want to compete with Coca-Cola? Obviously, because then you want to compete with British Airways or Emirates. Those you need big dollars for, yeah? So that's a barrier. We haven't got the money to do that. But, how big are you thinking, yeah? Why not start small, yeah, with a little investment, okay? Because if the barrier to gaining entry is money, it's how that you can raise the finance. We have clients who will put the house down with a bank for security to gain money. So it depends how much risk taker you are as well. So have you got any collateral? Can you go for a grant? Yeah, there is money out there, which, you know, small pots of money, which the government are offering to people to start up. So it's a very, very common question that, I'll need a lot of money to be in business. My advice would be to start small. Yeah, start small if it's anything, and then build it organically. Effie, is that answered your question?
Let me also add to that, Dr. Mohammed. Number one, I started a business of teaching. And what did I do? I told few people in IEEE conference that I could teach them AutoCAD. And I need 5 people, I need 50 people to register with 5,000, and this was back in Nigeria. 50 people pay 5,000. I used the 50,000 to buy the first computer before I started teaching them on a Monday.
Well, there you go.
After the first teaching, I got 50 more people. So I recovered that 50,000. I bought the second computer. In 6 months,
there you go. Yeah. So, I mean, that's an excellent businessman. Yeah, excellent business idea, isn't it? Where, you could have bought the computer before. So
there was no money.
There
was no money.
You took action, and then the money came.
Exactly. Yeah. So I do tell people, you don't need money, you just need idea, a working idea. Yeah. And then I left that business and handed it over with 300 computers.
Yeah. So Effie, I don't know what your business idea is, but do you want to tell me what your idea is? Effie?
It has not been fine-tuned yet, but I'm just trying to get your perspective, about cost of entry.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so my general advice would be take action, and Celestine's just said that as well. Start somewhere.
Yeah, someone will say is that what we did in Aberdeen was I linked up, when he said networking, I linked up with another company I created what you call it, first was online. So because I could work on IT, I created a website. You don't need anything. You just need like £6 to get a domain name. Yeah. You need very little money to get. So when you're talking of big money, and then I'm like, you need to harness your business plan well. So when we created that, I started writing news. And from writing news, I have so many companies who came and they were paying to advertise in WSN magazine online. And that became good money coming in every month from that. Then when the news became very much, and we started reaching 100,000 viewers every month. Then a company in Spain wrote and said, do you want to partner with us? We want to make you the chief supplier of our product. That is networking. And then we became European employer. I mean, UK, what do you call it? People coming in using us to get those companies. So when you make noise, when you make news, like I keep saying, those who make news don't watch news. So you keep doing what you do, and people will keep coming to you. So that is to help on that in terms of every time you are looking for money to start business. No, what you lack is a definite idea to run that business. Thank you.
Thank you, Celestine. That was really, really good, that aspect. Should we bring in Samuel?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I just hope you can hear me better now.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, for the insight so far. So the question I have is actually straightforward. Actually, it's related to the visa's terms. In terms of saying we are students and we can't open a business. I just recently discovered that although you can't have a registered business, but you actually can register for HMRC because I currently registered, and I currently have UTR, unique tax payer reference number. So I just wanted to ask, I'm not sure how much you know about those jobs that they call what do you call them? Self-employed roles. They're like self-employed jobs because I was able to register through one of them. Um, they are there because I currently have one at the moment, but I don't know how I go about paying my tax. So is my tax being will it be deducted from my salary every month, or will I do a tax return just like a business owner?
Okay, so Sammy, so you're doing some work for somebody, yeah, I take it. Is that right?
Yeah.
And are you sending them an invoice?
Yeah, they are the ones sending me invoices. So they're paying and they're sending invoices. They're paying through Wise. I think Wise is a umbrella company
Right.
that
Okay.
manages, yeah.
So I can see what they're billing themselves through you. So unless, you know, I take it on these invoices, there is no tax mentioned at all.
Yeah, none yet. I haven't
So
actually seen. It's a new role, so I was just waiting to see how it would be. But yeah, I just wanted to find out if I can know beforehand.
on the face of it, then you will be responsible for the tax. So because you have a UTR number, okay, that
Yeah.
satisfies the employer because you've got a UTR, unique tax reference number. So that means that the next tax year you will have to file a return.
So I wouldn't be taxed every month then.
No, it's annually. So
Pay will be
say the next tax return is now due at the end of January, 31st of
mm,
January.
mm-hmm.
That's for the tax year ended on the 5th of April, 2023.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the UK?
Yes.
You're a Bolton student.
Yes.
You know, I just want to add something that, you know, we in the business school, we have the accounting and tax clinic. It's pro bono, it's all free, and you're welcome through Celestine to get in touch with me and, you know, come for more advice and guidance if you need that. Celestine, that's up to you if you want to use that facility. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's very important you meet them because actually some of those companies are cheating you. They are supposed to add some tax. Now that you have the tax number, they're supposed to add some money to you, to get that work. Is that money on top of it? The tax is paid. It's not your own money. It's the tax money. So you are saying you will be taxed from already your profit. They are supposed to pay the tax ahead for you. These are the things Mohammed and the team will assist you in doing so that you don't so change by those companies.
So Sammy, you just have to be very, very careful because the legislation in that area has changed over the last 12 months. So let's have a look at that. Let's investigate. Yeah.
All right. I'll come through. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions or anything to share at all?
Okay, let me just add this one quickly. When you started your presentation, you mentioned about the government policies that give about 40 quid per week or per month, and that encouraged you to start a business. I just want to ask, the question is a quick one. Are there any current policies like that, especially ones that are that give incentives to SMEs or to start?
Okay. When I refer to the enterprise investment allowance, that was £40 a week. That was the Thatcher government. You might know Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister. But unfortunately, now, other than training in the local libraries, you know, having a mentor, there's no financial assistance in that way to become an entrepreneur. You can apply for funding, you can apply for grants, but there's an application process. For example, in Greater Manchester, I'm on the chair of an investment panel. And in that investment panel, small companies will put in their business plan for, say, £1,000 or maximum £10,000. but you have to apply for that. So it may be a small community interest. You might want to get together in your community in Bolton and say, well, look, we need to get together because we need to, there's this need for our community, and you can apply for money. So other than the applications, and there is money out there for small community interest companies. So it may not be a business, it may be a community interest, a charity, you want to start up, so that's possible, but not the monthly scheme, the weekly scheme that I was talking about before. That was just a one-off policy to get people from unemployment to self-employment, and the figures look really good, obviously. Unemployment came down.
Okay.
Yes.
Sadiq, thank you so much. It's been a very, very interesting conversation so far. We've not only gained insight from your presentation, but we've also gotten practical direction, especially with your advice to Sami to come to the Center for Advice. I'm sure that many of us will also come to you whenever we want to start a business or want to do anything that is accounting related. We'll be glad to come to the Center for Advice. It's been an interesting evening, and it's already past 7. At this moment, I would like to invite Dr. Celestine.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed Sadiq. One of the reasons why we put up this topic is to let students know that your idea is money. And the faster, like you use the word, take action. Once you take action, somebody else steals your idea. A particular time I was sleeping, I woke up with one idea in my head. I drew it, and then I showed it to my wife. My wife just put it on the Google and said, oh, this idea is already there. Your dream was late,
It was late.
And then I told myself, oh my, that was a missed opportunity. But the fact is, your idea may be similar to somebody, but that is not that person's idea. It is your idea, because nothing is new under the sun. The way your idea become may be definitely different. So don't say somebody else has done it. You have not yet tried. So that's why we put up this topic, to let you know that you can be, you are a creator, and then we are trying to make sure we have our students who go out to, to be job creators. We want offshoot companies, and we are going to set that one up in our centers that we are planning. And Dr. Mohammed is there helping people to make it. So if you have any idea, whether from the dream, from angels, or from anyone you have cooked out, bring it out. You may make more money than the job you are looking at. You will make more money than 10 pounds of cleaning somebody's bum,
Exactly.
At first, it's not always easy. But one thing I know about business is, in fact, another word for it is risk. And I tell myself it is more risky not to take the risk that is risky. So I try to bring business things, even in academics. And I keep saying, which is the final word before I present our award to him, I said, a man with only one job is an accident waiting to happen. Tomorrow you have a job. If that is the only thing you have, that is the only thing that gives you money, you will not have holidays. You will not have, you cannot travel. It will not be enough for your need. That's why he was saying that you create something. You create something. Have something else that is giving you money. In China, I lived in China, and I learned so much about them. They have the government doesn't even touch that particular tax for them. So every Chinese has 1 or 2 things, 2 or 3 things they are doing at the same time.
Yeah.
And when you see them come outside the country and spend money, you begin to wonder, because the system allows it. Everybody is productive. So we are hoping that our students will also be that productive, not just coming to the class, but using what you have learned, using your passion, and make money from it. I told my student the other time, I said, how many of you can sing? And someone said, I can sing. And I said, do you have a YouTube page? He said he does not have. I said, do you know, have you released the music? He said, you have released the music? I said, yes. And I have 45,000 people watching it. You can sing? I said, yes. He says, you can do everything. I said, that is what is called creativity. You know, so there are a whole lot of things that all of us are doing, but, you know, we need to learn how to convert it to money. And Dr. Mohammed is there. We want to say thank you again, Dr. Mohammed, for that opportunity to come here. Today we present to you an award, you know, to say thank you. Okay, we can see this. Everybody can see this.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we're presenting our award to him to say thank you for coming and being part of this November to Remember series. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a real privilege, and you know, I hope you know you've got some inspiration from me or Celestine or the other colleagues we're talking. If not, inspire somebody else. Yeah, your families, your brothers, your sisters. You know, and like Celestine said, take the step. Let's not, you know, discuss or overthink these things. You know, and make your next fortune. You need multiple income streams, as Dr. Celestine says, not rely on one income stream. You can do, but it's a big, wide world. So it's a privilege to be here and for me to take 1 hour and 11 minutes of your time. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Remember,
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow we are having the IEE computer president that is going to be speaking tomorrow. Please don't fail to be there. It's going to be awesome. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank
And
you.
good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.